Alright, let's try to make something obvious. There are words, there's context, and then there's the right advice. Listen, let's unpack this, right? There are words. Everybody has a different relationship with the words in the English language, but still kind of the same. But then again, you might hate certain words, and you might not like certain words, or you're emotionally triggered by certain words. Words are bundled up to create phrases and sentences. Again, you might not like certain phrases, you might get emotionally triggered by certain phrases or sentences. In a certain paragraph or an essay, if you don't like one certain word, you're thrown off guard, you're emotionally triggered, and you will not hear the rest of the story. So, there are words, there's context as well. Context is also made of words. If there's not enough context of what anybody is saying based on their own personal experience, you might not get what that person is actually saying. You might interpret something totally differently from what the person was saying. Let's say you got Steve Jobs saying, "Follow your passion." Without context, you might think of something totally else. Passion. What passion means? Maybe passion seems something else to Steve Jobs, and passion means something else to you. This is why the context is important. What passion actually means. We should clearly define what passion actually means so that when Steve Jobs says follow your passion, you understand what actually, from his own experience, he is meaning with that phrase. Maybe he has a totally different experience in his life, a totally different outlook, a totally different perception and perspective. So he means something else. Maybe you confuse passion with lust, with curiosity, or you might think of passion as something that you gotta feel, right? And when something gets very difficult, you're like, this is not a passion. And Steve Jobs means, for him, maybe passion is something totally else. This is why I can speak here for 10 hours and you might still misunderstand me or somebody else. And especially when you have less and less information, people are just gonna make up so many different stories around it because everybody has a different relationship with the words. This is the reason why it's very difficult to give the right advice, especially on YouTube, because I don't personally know you at all. I'm speaking to a camera. But I'm not actually speaking to a camera. I'm speaking to myself. I do understand what my words mean to me. So that's why when I explain something, I feel like I've already explained it. But certain people may have additional questions about what am I saying. And that's good. You should have questions because sometimes I'm not going to explain certain things very well. Actually, most of the time I will not explain things as I mean because it's very different. We don't have the capable vocabulary. Not everybody has the capable vocabulary to explain what they mean. I'm trying to use the most simple vocabulary so that most people are gonna be able to understand me, right? But then again, I'm trying to use the most simple of words so that I can understand myself. But then again, I do know that I can confuse myself, and this is the reason why it's very difficult to give the right advice. But then again, if you succeed at giving the right advice, what if the advice is just at the wrong time? The right advice, but at the wrong time. Now, what the hell do I mean? Well, let's say somebody is a beginner in a certain journey and somebody is an expert. Of course, an expert would give one advice to an expert. But what if that expert doesn't know your position in your life? And he gives an opinion assuming that you're also an expert and you're a beginner, and you just totally get confused. The right advice at the wrong time is still the wrong advice. You can tell a child not to drive while intoxicated. That's the right advice at the wrong time. A child doesn't have the driving license, and he's probably going to forget that. He's probably going to be like, wow, that person is very knowledgeable. But yeah, the right advice at the wrong time. So this is the reason why many YouTube videos, when are in the personal development, in the self-help, may not actually speak to you. So this is why you have to comb through the noise. You have to sift through. You have to search for the advice that applies to you right now. Most advice is not going to apply, and most advice is just going to be taken out of context, and it's just going to be difficult to comprehend, right? So this is why I'm not trying to give advice to anyone out there. I'm just trying to talk to myself. Actually, this is free therapy for me. I really don't give a shit. I'm not doing this because I want to. I'm not making videos because I want to. I'm making videos because I have a need to. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make videos. I'm going to post them, and maybe I'm going to make some money out of them to go to real therapy. You know, it's a catch-22. You know, everybody's like, you should go to therapy. Well, you know, I need money to go to therapy. So, you know, it's insane. I can vent here, and I can like, woohoo, you know. You got it. I know you got it. It's all a fucked up situation. What can we do about it? Nothing. We can try our best.